There we go. Brilliant. Well, Happy New Year. Lovely to see you in this bright new year. And I'm not a big fan of New Year. I'm not looking at my messages. I'm just getting something ready for us to read. I'm not a big fan of New Year. I think sometimes it can be this feeling that we must be kind of reinventing ourselves or changing something drastic about ourselves in order to progress. And I think every day we make little changes to how we move, to how we feel. And I think it's a work in progress. I don't think there's any quick fix that we need to make in January where suddenly we emerge into February, this bright, shiny new being. Every day we're working on ourselves. We're making small changes, moving forwards. And I just wanted to start by reading this lovely poem by another yoga teacher, Donna Ashworth, who wrote this about moving into a new year. Why do we start a new year with promises to improve? Who began this tradition of never-ending pressure? I say the end of a year should be filled with congratulation for all we survived. And I say a new year should start with promises to be kinder to ourselves, to understand better just how much we bear as humans on this exhausting treadmill of life. And if we are to promise more, let's pledge to rest before our bodies force us. Let's pledge to stop and drink in life as it happens. Let's pledge to strip away a layer of perfection to reveal the flawed and wondrous humanity we truly are inside. Why start another year gifted to us on this earth with demands on our already overstrained humanity when we could be at learning to accept that we are always supposed to be imperfect? And that's where the beauty lies, actually. And if we can only find that beauty, we would also find peace. I love that. So let's go gently, not kicking and screaming into this new year. So as you ease yourself down onto your back this morning, really listening to what your body needs. So as you hug your knees in and lay your head down, maybe take a little movement through the low back, maybe a little rocking of the knees or a little circling of the knees if the back feels a little tight. Sometimes when we practice in the morning, our back might feel a little tight from having lain in bed. So do some gentle movement there just to release any tension. And then when you're ready, let's bring both feet down to the floor. We're going to take the feet a little bit wider apart than your hips. And then you can rest your knees against each other. And then you might want to pick up your hips and just lengthen your spine down and away the mat. Maybe pick up your chest and snuggle your shoulder blades down the back. And then when you get yourself nice and comfy, having created that sense of space in the back body, just let your arms relax wherever feels right for you this morning. Maybe down by the side of the body, or if you've had a particularly busy period over Christmas and New Year, you're feeling a little bit discombobulated. Sometimes a hand gently resting on your chest and the other on your lower belly sometimes just helps you come home to yourself and home to your breath. So closing the eyes if you're comfortable with that this morning. Start to bring an awareness to your breath. Always a good place to start at the beginning of the practice, just checking in with that breath and how it feels this morning or this evening if you're practicing later. Without making any judgments or trying to change, we just observe as our breath deep and steady, or maybe it feels a little shallow and ragged, particularly if we've been a little busy of late. That might be reflected in our breath. So after a few rounds, we start to begin to explore taking a more conscious control of our breath. So as you inhale, that sense of trying to expand your ribcage in all directions. Feeling a sense of space being created on the inhale. And as you exhale, you can allow the body to soften back into that space. The shoulders releasing, face softening, the hips relaxing, letting go of any tension that might have built up over Christmas. It's a busy time, it can be a stressful time for some of us. So whatever these last few weeks have brought, letting that go as you exhale, starting this new year fresh. So you allow the breath to settle into that rhythm that you can sustain throughout the practice. Let's release the arms down by the side of the body if you have them resting on you. And turning the palms flat to the floor, and reach the arms straight up towards the ceiling, dropping the weight into your shoulders, and just start to turn your wrists. Maybe get your fingers moving a little bit as we warm up through the joints. It was very damp and horrid yesterday, so let's get those joints nice and active now. Changing direction with whatever movement you're taking, whatever movement feels good in the wrists and the fingers. And then pointing the fingers straight up towards the sky as you lower them all the way back down by the side of the body. And start moving into the shoulders with the breath. So as we inhale, this time bring the arms up and maybe back behind you over the top of the head. And then as you exhale, we'll bring them all the way back down. And so as you begin to move with your breath, if your shoulders feel tight, maybe you take your arms out into a nice V shape rather than alongside your ears. And if your shoulders feel super tight, maybe you just leave your arms reaching up towards the sky. If you are bringing them back behind you, trying to soften your rib cage, so we're not puffing the chest up towards the sky. Let's do that a couple more times, stretching the arms back, starting to spread the palms a little bit wider, livening through your hands. And the next time you've got the arms back above the head, pausing there now as you stretch out one leg and then the other. So we'll all end up in this lovely full body stretch. And from there, wrists and ankles get a little circle now. So moving the feet and the hands, getting into the joints, might be some clicks and crunches as you change direction. Really good just to warm up the joints when it's a little bit colder, a little bit damp still. And then pointing the toes, reaching the fingertips back, and maybe this time you arch your back a little bit, picking up your chest, finding some space between your back and the floor. And then as you lower your arms, walk your feet back in towards you. This time we'll bring the heels close in towards your bottom. Let's hug that right knee in towards your chest, holding in front or behind the knee. As you relax the shoulders down, giving that knee a little squeeze. And then holding on around the back of the thigh, let's take that leg up into a little hamstring stretch this morning. Oh, they might feel tight. Just point and flex your foot. If you've been spending longer than usual, maybe sitting down, family, with friends, maybe the hamstrings and hips feel a little tight. So don't worry, we're going to open up some space in those areas today. So pointing and flexing. And pushing the heel up, toes down towards your face. Just gently press your leg into your hand into your leg. And find that space. Let's come into our first little moving flow. So letting that leg begin to release down to the floor in front of you as you reach both arms back above the head. Or take an inhale. And exhale, squeeze your knee to your chest and maybe lift your nose towards your knee. And then inhale, we extend, stretching out the leg and the arms. And then give that knee a squeeze, maybe lifting nose to knee if that feels good this morning. One more, holding the knee in towards your chest. These next three, feel free to continue like that. Or if you want more, reach both arms up on either side of your shin. So we're using that core a little bit more. But you can hold your knee. You do whatever feels good this morning. Let's do that one more time. So a big reach up. And last time to stretch the leg away, reach the arms back, keep the head and shoulders on the floor this time. Just bring that knee back in towards your chest. Then take it back up towards the sky. And then just using your right hand, let that right leg open out to the side, catching it underneath with your right hand. And maybe let that left knee roll open. So you've got a nice inner thigh stretch, back to center. This time bring your left hand to the outside of that right leg. And bring it across the body, outer thigh stretch. Inhale to center. Exhale, let that leg roll out to the right, catch it underneath. Inhale to center. And then one more, carrying that leg across the body. Let's come all the way back to center and bring that foot down. Just pause there for a moment. Just notice how that right side feels. And then we'll balance it out with the left leg. So bringing the left knee up and in. Just pausing there as you relax the shoulders, giving the knee a squeeze. And then we'll take that leg up towards the ceiling. And again, a little softness in the knee as you point and flex your foot. So you can keep that knee as bent as you need to if that hamstring feels a little tight after maybe some inactivity over Christmas. And then push the heel up, toes pulling down towards the face, ready for that little moving flow on this side. So as you inhale, we release the leg and reach the arms back. And exhale, knee to chest, maybe nose to knee, grounding into a little ball. And then inhale, extend, doing as many as you wish of these, having a rest when you need to. I'm going to do the last one, guiding the knee in with my hands. Then we're going to do 3 more. Option you stick with that, or reaching the arms up on either side of the shin. So we're working the core a little bit more strongly now, if that's for you today. Last one of those, reaching up. And then we'll extend arms and leg. Keep the head and shoulders on the floor as you give that knee one last squeeze in towards your chest. And then up it goes towards the sky, ready for those little stretches. So using the left hand this time to catch the leg from underneath as you open it out to the left. Maybe rolling the right knee open. Inhale to center. Right hand this time brings the leg across the body. Push the heel away from you. Inhale to center. One more each way, so a little inner thigh stretch, catching that leg, trying to keep that left leg as straight as you can as it's moving from side to side. And then coming all the way back to center before we bring both feet to the floor. A little bit of functional movements now, good for our brain as well as our body. So we're going to bring your right hand behind your head, snuggle it behind your head and then lay your head back down. And point your right elbow up towards the sky. So knees and elbows pointing up towards the sky. Left arm just down by the side of the body. And open that elbow out to the right. Drop both knees to the left. And then maybe look over your right shoulder. So we're getting a little twist. As you inhale, bring the knees and the elbow back to center. And as you exhale, open the elbow and drop the knees to the left. Maybe turn the head. Inhaling to center, twice more. So as you open the elbow, we drop the knees in the opposite direction. So we're getting some space in the right side of the body. Inhale to center. And exhale, open the elbow. Let the knees drop to the left and pause there now. Your gaze might be over to the right. And take a couple of breaths now into the right side of the body. A little stretch there between the ribs into the top of the hip. And then when you're ready, come all the way back to center, this time interlacing both hands and cradling your head in your hands. So you're lying on a beach. And now point both elbows up towards the ceiling. Press into your feet, start to lift your hips into a little shoulder bridge. And as you do, open both elbows, pressing them down into the floor. Chest and hips nice and open. And as you roll your way back down, point the elbows back up towards the sky. So as you inhale, lift the hips, open the elbows wide, pressing those hips up. And as you exhale, point the elbows towards the ceiling as you roll back down twice more. So beginning to find some space between each vertebrae, pressing the elbows gently down as the hips come up. And then pointing the elbows back up towards the ceiling. Last time, elbows wide, hips nice and high. And pointing the elbows up towards the ceiling, rolling back down. Keep the left hand behind the head and just reach the right arm down by the side of the body. So left elbow pointing up towards the ceiling, back into that little twist. So as the elbow opens to the left, drop the knees to the right, and maybe look over your left shoulder. Inhaling everything back to center. And as you exhale, drop the knees to the right, elbow opens out to the left. And twice more, so noticing maybe this side feels a little different. So knees and elbow moving in opposite directions. So we're just getting that nice sense of space into the left side of the body, holding this next time for a few breaths. You might feel a little stretch in the top of the hip. And the side definitely feels a little tighter than the other for me. Lovely. Slowly back to center. Last time to interlace both hands behind the head. Point those elbows up towards the ceiling. Back into our little shoulder flow. So as you inhale, open the elbows wide, lift the hips up, pressing all the toes down into the mat, and then rolling down, elbows close together. So as you inhale, elbows wide, hips high. And roll your way back down, finding space between the vertebrae. Let's do that twice more. So big breath in to lift up, and use that whole exhale to roll your way down. Let's do this one last time. So coming all the way up, up, up. And this time as you roll your way down, when your hips touch down, let's bring both knees in towards the chest. Widen your knees, keep your big toes pointing towards each other. And then start to circle the knees around in individual circles, like you're doing a little breaststroke on your back. Maybe the lower back starts to arch a little bit as you press the knees away from you, and then it imprints into the mat as you bring the knees in towards your chest. And then change directions, so little froggy legs, little breaststroke in the opposite direction again, moving into the hips this morning. Lovely. And then giving those knees a nice big squeeze, maybe coming into a little ball as you round on up, nose towards your knees. And then lower the head, lower the shoulders. And you can roll to seated or cross your ankles, hold behind your knees and roll your way up with me. I'm going to sit cross-legged this morning, right in front of left. You can always stretch the legs out in front of you, no problem at all. Or even pop something underneath your hips. Fingertips to the floor. And think about lifting your breastbone up without overarching through the back. So we're nice and pulled up through the middle. And then as you inhale, we're going to reach both arms up, maybe lift your head. Exhale, bring the hands to your heart and your chin to your chest. Let's find some space in the neck. Inhale, sweeping the arms out and up. Lifting, lifting, and exhale all the way back down. We'll do that one more time. So a nice big reach up. And again, as you bring the hands to the heart, the chin drops down towards the chest. I'm going to add on this next time, so reaching up. And this time we're going to take a twist to the right. So go ahead and bring your left hand onto your right knee or in front of you, wherever feels comfortable. Another hand behind you so you can sit up nice and tall. Maybe turning the head over that shoulder. And finding that lovely rotation through the back. Lovely. And then keeping the hands where they are, just bring your head back to center. You're going to lift the knees up and cross your right arm over your left arm, holding onto your knees. So your knees are lifted up. You're going to lift the chest, take an inhale. And as you exhale, press the knees away from you and round your back. So as you inhale, knees lift, chest lifts, maybe a little arch. And then exhale, rounding away from your knees. We press the knees into the hands twice more. Inhale. And exhale. You can always do this with both feet on the floor. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Lovely. And letting go of the knees. We're going to come into our eagle arms. Right arm on top of left arm. Option 1, hands on shoulders. Or option 2, we find that bind crossing at the forearms. Wherever we are, let's lift the elbows, take an inhale, and exhale, rounding on elbows towards your belly button as you sink into that little fold. So inhale, we lift up, take the elbows up, and exhale to round on in. Twice more, so you can do this with your hands on your shoulders, lifting those elbows away from your chest and then dropping them back down. Let's do one more, whatever version we're doing this morning. Rounding in, lovely. This time we'll lift the elbows, let go of your wrists or your shoulders and take a big circle of the arms all the way up. Fingertips find the floor behind you. Just come onto the tops of your feet as you separate your feet hip width apart and pressing into your hands, lifting up nice and tall through the chest. Option 1, we stay there. We'll start to lift your hips, maybe walking your feet a little further away from you so you can aim to bring your bottom roughly level with the backs of the knees. Chin stays tucked in. We'll take one more inhale. And as you exhale, roll your way down if you lifted your hips. And then we'll come back to cross-legged, left in front of right this time, or extend the legs out in front of you. So we're going to come into, whoa, getting a bit warm. We're going to come into that little twist to the left. So as we inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up. And then take that twist round to the left this time. So right hand comes across to your thigh, your knee, maybe in front of you, somewhere where you can rest the fingers down very gently and start to turn your body towards the left. Making sure you're not leaning into that back hand, you're sitting up nice and tall. And then nothing changes. We just bring the head back to center. Start to lift the knees or bring both feet to the floor. And we'll bring left arm on top of right arm. So back arches as you inhale. Exhale, drop the knees into your hands, round your back. So inhale, like a little version of cat-cow, lift your chest. And then exhale, press the knees into your hands. Twice more. So like me, you might be feeling a little stretch between the shoulder blades as the knees drop into your hands. Do that one more time. Lovely. And then letting go of your knees, we're going to come into that eagle arm, left on top of right. So again, you might have hands on shoulders. You might come into that little double wrap. Lift the elbows, shoulders away from ears as you inhale. Exhale as you round on in. So inhaling, elbows come nice and high. And then exhale, we round on in. So try and keep your shoulders away from your ears. Again, you might just be having your hands on your shoulders this morning. That's absolutely fine. You're still getting that lovely stretch and space through the belly as you lift on up and release. Lovely. This time we'll lift the elbows, letting go shoulders or wrists so you can circle the arms in front of the face. Hands come behind you, fingertips pointing forwards or out to the side and bringing your feet to the floor. Again, you might just choose to press into your hands, open up through the chest, or again, continuing to lift the hips, maybe walking the feet forwards, coming into your up face plank. Chin stays tucked in. Lovely. Whatever you're doing, let's take one more inhale there and roll your way down as you exhale. Beautiful. Tucking your feet round to one side. Let's come on to all fours this morning. Hands under shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Lovely. So take a moment there to spread your hands nice and wide and make sure that your knees aren't too close to your wrists there. You've got a nice long back and long belly. And then tucking the toes under, let's start to wake up the feet. As you inhale, press into the balls of the feet as you bring your chest forwards, arching the back, and then flatten your feet round the spine as you come into your cat pose. So inhale, toes tuck, chest comes forwards between your arms, and then flattening feet, press into the tops of the feet and the shins as you round the back. Doing a couple more like that, just starting to wake up through the feet. I'm doing one more, toes tuck, chest comes forwards, keep pressing into your hands, and then rounding up into that angry cat shape. Lovely. Now just tuck the toes under as you come back to that tabletop position. And send your bottom back towards your heels, hands stay where they are. So don't worry if your bottom doesn't reach your heels. Just have a little massage across the balls of the feet, just rocking the weight from side to side. And then keeping the hands where they are, come back onto all fours and continue to move forwards, bringing your shoulders just forward of your wrists, pressing the hands down. So coming back, bottom to heels, and then shifting the weight forwards, just warming up through the wrists, doing a couple more like that. So wrists and feet, getting a little bit of love this morning. Beautiful. And then coming back onto all fours, flattening your feet this time, and taking your bottom back down towards your heels, walking the hands forwards, coming into a child pose, maybe on the tops of your fingers if that feels good. Just taking the heat at the wrists as you stretch out through the side body. Lovely. And then walking your hands back towards your knees. We're going to lift ourselves up into standing kneeling with your knees underneath your hips. Lovely. Reaching both arms up. Let's take an inhale. And as you exhale, push the palms away from you as you lower the arms all the way back down by the side. So inhale, reaching up, keeping those hips on top of your knees. And exhale to release. Lovely. Let's do one more like that. So big reach up, up, up. And exhale, coming down. Beautiful. So reaching up. This time as you exhale, right arm down, left arm over the top, coming into a little side bend. Through the middle, inhale. And then over to the other side. Don't worry about touching the floor. Some of you might, if you've got longer arms than me, let's do one more each way. I'm certainly not going to get there with my little arms. Inhale. And exhale. Lovely. Just bringing the arms out to the side. Going to step your right foot out to the side, keeping the knee bent. And so bringing your hand to your elbow onto your thigh. Let that left arm sweep forwards and up, letting the hips drop, and then all the way back up. So as you inhale, you reach forwards and up, and exhale, release. So just letting the hips begin to move a little bit, if that's okay on your hips. If that's a little bit tight this morning, you can always keep the movement a little smaller. Let's just do one more of those. So nice to open up into the hips. And this time we're going to reach both arms out to the side, straighten that leg, or keep it bent if that's preferable to you as we come into gate pose. Pull the little fingers back, lift the chest, and then come over the top into that lovely side bend. Come up through the middle, lift that top hip. Right arm comes up and over again. Don't worry about touching the floor. Inhale to center. Over to the right as you exhale. And then inhale through the middle. Lift that top hip. Oh, get that lovely stretch to the side body. And coming all the way back up through the middle, arms out to the side. Take a little twist to the right. So go ahead and bring your left arm in front of you. And then bringing the hand down to the floor. Shift the weight forwards as you reach that right arm up. We'll take an inhale and exhale, right arm under left arm. If this doesn't work for you as we continue to thread the needle, you can bring both knees underneath you. Lovely. Otherwise, keeping that right leg extended. Let's inhale, reach up. And exhale to twist. One more like that. Reaching the right arm under the left arm. And then reaching that right arm back up towards the sky. Push off the floor as we come all the way back up into that gate pose. Arms out to the side. Then come all the way over to the left. Option one, we stay here. Or this time, maybe bring the hand down. Extend that top arm over the head. And maybe lift the top leg if you want this morning. Lovely. Lower the leg. Bring both hands down onto your mat. Take that shin behind you. So we're on all fours. We've got our right leg extended back behind you. Have a little rock back and forth over the leg. And you can stay here or tucking the toes under. Let's come up into a downward facing dog. If you're in your downward dog this morning, just have a little pedal out through your feet. Let me swap sides so I can mirror you. Just bending one knee and then the other. Have a little sway of the hips or shake of the head there maybe. Lovely. And then pausing in that downward dog, being as generous as you need to. In that knee bend, so you can send your ribs back towards your thighs. And just bending your right knee, just your right knee, and stretching that left heel down to the floor. And float the right leg up behind you. We'll take an inhale, and as you exhale, step or help that right foot forwards and lower the back knee. So we'll all end up in a nice slow lunge. Sweep the arms out and up. Let's take an inhale. And exhale again. Push the palms down and away the side of the body. So inhale, reaching up, coming up as high as you can with those arms. And then exhale, flexing the wrists. Lovely. One more time. Inhale. This time as you exhale, bring the hands down to frame your front foot. We're going to tuck the back toes under. Come up onto your fingertips, we'll lift the chest, breath in, and then breathing out, start to move your hips back, maybe pulling the toes towards your face. So rocking forwards as you inhale, knee bent, and then exhale, saying good morning and happy new year to our hamstrings. One more, inhale, ooh, and exhale, rocking back. Lovely. You're going to plant the hands down. And leaving the left hand on the floor, right arm opens up into a lovely twist. Option to lift the back knee if you wish. And then bringing both hands down, framing that foot. And you might just come into a forward fold this morning, or walk your hands forwards of that front foot. Slide the left foot in. You might bend that left knee and just tuck it behind your right leg, or come into a standing split. Don't worry about how high you lift that back leg. Gazing towards your right knee. If you're feeling really brave, you can bring your right hand behind your calf or keep both hands on the floor. And from there, let's bring the hands down and bring both feet underneath you. Bend the knees, cradle the elbows, and have a little sway from side to side there. Just let the body move. And again, if you don't want to be in a forward fold this morning, just brace your elbows on your knees and lift your head a little higher there. If you're with me, still in that forward fold, letting go of the elbows, and let your arms dangle now as you take that little roll up to standing, taking your time. And when you get to the top, have a little roll of the shoulders there. Let's just adjust the camera. So standing up nice and tall, little roll of the shoulders. Beautiful. And then as you inhale, just sweep both arms all the way up. Lovely. And exhale, bring the hands to the heart. A little more momentum now, bending the knees. Inhale, reaching up nice and tall. And exhaling, hands coming down to heart. Lovely. Just one more time. Nice deep breath in. This time as you exhale, come all the way down, bending the knees generously so you can take a hold around the front of your ankles or your shins. So knees are bent. Now just straighten your right leg as you take your right arm out to the side, pushing the hip back behind you. And then bend the knees, hands to shins or ankles. Other side, left leg straightens, left arm lifts. We'll take an inhale. Bending the knees, exhale back to center, one more each way. So you're straightening that right leg back behind you. And then release, lovely, last time, inhale. With that left arm and exhale. Press into the feet, rise all the way up, take a breath in, beautiful. Hands coming to heart, exhale, lovely. Just sweep the arms up one last time, keeping the arms raised up there now. Option one, we stay there, or see if you can lift up onto the balls of the feet for a little balance challenge this morning. Lovely. And then lower the heels and lower the hands back to the heart. Beautiful. So we're going to be stepping the right leg back, so making sure you've got some space behind you, bending the knees, sweep the arms all the way out and up, take an inhale. This time we're coming all the way down into a forward fold. Lifting up halfway, take an inhale. This time as you exhale, we're going to step the right leg back, separating the feet, ready for a high lunge. Now, if you don't want to do a high lunge, bring the back knee down to the floor. If you're with me, we're going to lift up into that high lunge. And taking the arms up, so again, you can work with that back knee on the floor if you wish. If you're in that high lunge with me, we're going to straighten off both legs. Take an inhale. And then popping a little bend in the knees, lower the arms. If you've got your back knee on the floor, we're just moving the arms. Inhale, rising up, straightening the legs, arms lift. Tucking the pelvis under as you lower gently down. Lovely. Let's do one more. Inhale. And this time as you exhale, we'll all bring the hands down to frame that front foot, coming onto your fingertips. So if you've got your back knee down, we're just coming back into those little hamstring stretches we did before. If you're with me in a high lunge, straighten both legs and send the hips up and back into a pyramid. And then as you inhale, we'll all bend the front knee. Back knee stays lifted if you're in that lunge with me. Inhale, send the hips up and back, hamstring stretch. And exhale, rolling forward. So let's do one more like that. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. And so keeping that front knee bent, spin the back heel in. When you're ready, rising on up into our warrior two. So we've got our left foot forwards and our right toes are facing the long edge of the mat. And so sinking a little deeper into that front knee, you reach forwards, bringing your left hand or elbow to that front thigh, right arm up towards the sky. Then just circle that right arm forwards and down. And then all the way back up towards the sky. So you keep your hands on your knee rather than your forearm this morning. So we've got our left foot in front of us and our right foot behind us. Let's do one more circle. And this time coming all the way back up into your warrior two, we'll take an inhale. And as you exhale, take that left arm all the way up and back. Lovely. Into your warrior two, take an inhale. Hands come down, framing that front foot. As you exhale, back knee might stay lifted this time as you take the left arm up into a twist. Remember, you can lower the knee. And then both hands find the floor as you step back into your downward facing dog or come onto all fours. Rolling forwards to a plank, you can come straight onto your knees, take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's all lower the knees, come down onto your chest. Hands underneath the shoulders or wider if you need to this morning as you Take little baby cobra, pressing into your hands, lifting the chest. We'll take a breath in and rolling back down, breath out. Twice more. So remember, the wider the hands are, the softer that might feel on your shoulders. So go ahead and play around with the position of your hands as we do this last one together. Inhale. And exhale, release. And this time we'll come back onto all fours. Sending bottom back to heels, take a moment in that child pose. Lovely. Just again, bringing the breath back under conscious control. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly walking the hands back towards you. So again, we can rise on up into standing kneeling. You thought I'd forgotten we had two legs. Oh no, inhale, reach the arms up. And exhaling, bringing the hands down to the heart. Lovely. Twice more. Inhale, big reach up. So this time, hands coming straight down the middle. Lovely. Last time, inhale, pressing those hips forwards. And exhale. You ready for a little twist this time? So inhale up. This time, reach your right arm forward, your left arm back as we take a little twist. Inhale through center. And then we twist in the opposite direction, splitting the arms, reaching the arms in opposite directions. We'll do one more each way. And so getting that sense of turning through the upper back, the middle back, getting a nice rotation. Lovely, reaching the arms up. As you bring the arms out to the side, this time we're going to step the left foot out to the side, knee bent. So you can use your left hand or your elbow on your thigh. Let that right hip and right arm drop down, and then push the floor away as we come all the way back up. And so you're letting the hips sink as much or as little as feels comfortable. So maybe they're not moving very much this morning, that's fine. You can always keep your hand on your thigh if you need a little bit more space. Let's do this one last time. And then bringing the arms out left to right, straightening that left leg, coming into gate pose, hips press forwards. Let's come over the top, so right arm comes up and over. Inhale to center. And then right arm down towards the floor. Lovely stretch through the left side of the body. Through the middle, inhale. Over the top as we exhale. Lovely. Once more, inhale. Again, don't worry about touching the floor. Arms come out to the side. And we're going to take a little rotation. So this time, right arm comes forwards. And shifting the weight forwards, right hand to the floor. We'll take the left arm up towards the sky. Turning through the chest, take an inhale. Left arm under right arm this time. And then pulling the chest forwards, taking the arm up, big reach, big stretch. And then rocking the hips back as you feed the arm through. We're going to do that twice more. So seeing how that feels this morning. Remember, you can always work with both knees underneath you. Beautiful. So last time. And this time, taking the left arm all the way back up towards the sky. And push off that underneath hand to come back into our gate pose. Option one, right hand just reaches down, left arm coming up and over. Or see if you can bring the right hand to the floor, shifting the weight forward so your shoulder is on top of your wrist, and maybe lifting that top leg. Lovely. Slowly, slowly lower down. Let's come all the way back onto all fours with your left leg extended back behind you. You might just rock backwards and forwards. Or again, push up into your downward facing dog. And we'll start to pedal out through the feet again. Being a little bit playful there. Remember, you can always work from all fours if downward dog doesn't work for you today. And then pausing for a breath or so in your downward dog. Think about sending your hips up and back. Don't worry about how far your heels are away from the floor. Just lengthen the back. And this time, just bend your left knee. So your right heel is pressing down toward the floor. And then we'll float left leg up and back behind you, taking an inhale. Exhale, step or help it forwards. Give it a hand if it doesn't get there as you lower the back knee. You can keep the toes tucked or flatten them, choice is yours. Arms sweep out to side, breath in. And then pushing the palms away as you exhale. All the way back down. Lovely. Twice more. So you're reaching up. Maybe the palms touch above your head. Maybe not this morning. or any morning, reaching the arms up. And this time as you exhale, bringing the hands down, we'll frame the front foot. I'm going to tuck my back toes under now, come up onto the fingertips as you inhale, and then move the hips back, exhale. So we bend the front knee, look forwards, lift the chest, and then rock the hips back, maybe lifting the toes. Lovely, let's do that one more time. Beautiful. And this next time we'll plant the left foot on the floor, right hand on the floor, left arm opens up into that twist, maybe picking up the back knee as you stretch the heel away from you. And then we'll all bring the hands down. Option one, you just come into a forward fold, or walk your hands forwards of your front foot. Slide that right foot in. Again, you can bend both knees, just tuck the right knee behind the left knee, or take that right leg up into your standing split. So the choice is yours. And then wherever you are, let's all bring both feet hip width apart underneath you. Again, in that forward fold, we might cradle the elbows and sway. You might just let the arms dangle in front of you. Just allow the body to yield forwards. Before you let go of your elbows, and again, with control, slowly rolling your way up. Head comes up last, so we don't get that horrible head rush at the top. Taking a moment to allow blood pressure just to come back to normal. Sweeping both arms up, we'll take an inhale. And this time as you exhale, bring the hands behind you and interlace your hands. So we can keep the elbows soft. We'll start to straighten the arms, drawing the knuckles down, palms open. Lifting up through the chest, we'll take an inhale. Option to bend the knees and allow the body to fold forwards, lifting the arms up and over. If that doesn't work for your shoulders, bring your hands down to the floor. Bending the arms, lift up and over. And then releasing the arms. Let's sweep the arms forwards and up as we rise up to stand. Hands coming to heart, exhale. Lovely, arms lift up, leaving them there as you reach up towards the sky. And then again, option to rise up onto the balls of the feet, add that little challenge at the top, pausing there. And can you keep your heels lifted a moment longer as you lower your arms? When your arms are by the side of the body, will lower the heels. We'll be working the left leg this time, so bending the knees, arms lift up, take an inhale. Forward fold all the way down, exhale. Lifting up halfway, so hands to floor, shins or thighs. This time left leg takes a big step back. And again, you can work with your knee on the floor or coming up into that high lunge, still balanced on the ball of the back foot. Reaching the arms up, so if you've got the back knee down, you're just moving the arms. If you're with me in a high lunge, we're going to straighten both legs, take an inhale. And float the arms down as you soften both knees, exhale. So inhale, rising up, you might have your back knee on the floor. You might just be moving your arms just like we did before. Let's do this one more time, inhale. And this time as you exhale, we'll bring the hands down, framing that front foot. So again, if your back knee is down, you're just going to do that little hamstring stretch we did before. If your back knee is lifted, keep it lifted as you straighten both legs, sending the hips up and back. And then bending the front knee, back knee stays lifted. Take an inhale. Exhale, move those hips up and back. So hamstring choice. Maybe back knee down or staying lifted. One more time. Lovely. So bend that front knee. And spin your left heel in so the toes are facing the long edge of your mat. And when you're ready, opening those arms nice and wide, coming into your warrior two. Lovely. Beautiful. So this time we've got the other foot in front of us. Beautiful. So reaching forward, hand or forearm to thigh, and letting that left arm sweep all the way up. Drawing those big circles, so we're just moving the other leg this time. Lovely, nice big circles. And then coming back up into your warrior two, we'll take an inhale. And then reverse your warrior as you exhale. Beautiful. Let's take a big Cartwheel of both hands down, framing that front foot. Coming into your twist. So taking that right arm all the way up, taking a twist, and then bringing both hands down. Stepping back into your downward dog. Or coming onto all fours, rolling the body forwards to plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, knees lifted or lowered, come down onto your belly. Finding your cobra, inhale, lifting up. And exhale to lower down. We're doing that twice more. So go ahead and widen your hands if you need to. Inhale. And exhale, coming down. Beautiful. One more time, inhale. This time as you exhale, lower yourself down onto your belly, resting your head on your hands. So rest one hand on top of the other. Reaching the legs back behind you. Take a moment in crocodile pose. Just allowing the body a moment, just a slightly different restorative pose to child pose. Again, we've worked the legs a little bit, so let's see if we can create some space now. So with a flexed foot, bring your right heel in towards your bottom. You can stay there or reaching the right arm back behind you, taking hold around the front of your ankle, closing those knees towards one another as you lengthen the knee away from your hip. If you want a little bit more this morning, just gently press your hips down into the mat. Getting a nice stretch out through the front of the thigh there. And then slowly, slowly swapping sides. So bringing that left heel in towards your bottom, and you might just stay there. You might reach around with your left hand. And again, as you draw the heel in, make sure those knees are parallel. And again, we've got the option to press the hips down into the mat if you want a little bit of a deeper stretch this morning. Lovely. And then releasing the legs. Push against the floor as you come back onto all fours. I'm going to take my knees a little bit wider this time, point the big toes towards each other. Taking a child pose there, you can always keep your knees closer together. Reaching the arms out in front of you, and you might just want to stay there in that extended child pose. Or if you want a final stretch out for your shoulders, come onto the tips of your fingers on your right hand and feed your left arm underneath your right arm. So you're just turning the head and looking underneath that right armpit there. Just finding a little stretch in the back of that left shoulder. And slowly let's swap sides. So coming onto the fingertips of your left hand so you can feed your right arm underneath. Turning the head. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly coming back to that child pose, just pausing there again, just for a beat or two. As you lift your head, lift your chest, walk your hands back towards your knees, or bring the knees together. Drop your hips to one side, and we'll stretch both legs out in front of you. Oh, that feels better to have moved this morning. So being as generous with that knee bend as you need to. Come into a little forward fold. So reaching the arms up, we'll breathe in. As you fold forwards over the legs, again, you can bend your knees. You can even wrap your arms underneath your legs if you need a little bit more support today. Easing the body down wherever your arms fall. Just let them land. Closing the eyes. No forcing. Seeing if you can allow the body a moment of stillness there now. Slowly coming all the way back up. And you bring your right heel in towards your bottom. And let that knee open out to the side. You can always pop something underneath your knee or just keep both legs extended if that feels more comfortable. So sitting up nice and tall, we'll reach up, breath in. As you breathe out, take a twist round to the right. So go ahead and bring that left hand gently down. Inhale, reaching up. And then taking the twist in the opposite direction. Lovely. Inhaling up. One more over to the right. We're going to do one more each way. Inhaling up. And exhaling over to the left. This time coming back up to center, reaching the arms up and bringing the right hand down behind your right hip. Now option one, just reach the left arm up and over on the diagonal, or come onto the inside edge of that left foot and see if you can lift your hips up off the floor. So you keep your hips down or lift your hips up, choice is yours. Lovely, slowly, slowly come all the way back down. And swap the legs over, so bringing the left heel in, letting that knee open, or you can keep both legs out in front of you, reaching the arms up, take an inhale, and twist round to the left first of all, so right hand comes across the body, inhale, reaching up, and then over to the other side, breath out, trying to remain upright as we do that. One more little twist each way. Beautiful. And so this time, both arms reaching up, left hand behind the hip, and you might just reach the right arm up on the diagonal, or again, roll onto the inside edge of the foot and lift the hips up. Lovely, coming all the way back down. Extend the legs to give them a little shake. And then coming down onto your back, so if you need to pop a jumper on or something, you're in a cooler room, it's a bit milder than yesterday, but lovely, coming down onto your back, bringing both knees in towards your chest when you get there, so knees hugged in towards your chest, and again, maybe have a little rock, a little soothing, so you almost massage your lower back in towards the floor there. And then bring both hands onto your right knee and let your left foot come down to the floor. So you might stay there, hugging the knee in, or go ahead and slide the left leg out in front of you so the heel is pressing down into your mat. Maybe that right knee rolls open a little ways towards your armpit, but keep the left toes up towards the sky. And then reach the left arm all the way back behind your head. Stretching the heel and the fingertips in opposite directions. Keep hugging that right knee in. Then we'll bring the left hand onto your right knee. The right arm fall by the side of the body as you bring that right leg across the body into a little twist. And then rolling onto your back. Keep the right knee where it is. Bring the left knee in to join it. And again, maybe a little rock. And then both hands to your left knee. Bring the right foot to the floor. You might just want to stay there this morning, getting a little stretch out through the low back, or extend that right leg out in front of you, straight out in front of you. Press the heel down. Maybe that left knee rolls open a little bit. And then reach the right arm back behind your head. So you're getting a lovely long stretch through the side of the body. And the right hand onto your left knee this time. Coming into that twist, bringing the knee all the way across the body. A couple of breaths there. And rolling onto your back. Bring the right knee in towards the chest. One hand on each knee. Go ahead and widen your knees, keeping your big toes pointing towards each other. Then slide your hands down the shins, maybe towards your ankles, and try and drop some weight into your tailbone. So most of us, our tailbone will be up off the floor. What we're aiming to do is to release the muscles in the low back. So maybe eventually more of our lower back will be resting on the floor. You might just want to stay there, getting a nice little stretch in the hips and in the low back. Or you can lift your head, lift your shoulders, and holding on to the inside or outside edges of your feet. Keeping the knees bent, we take the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling as you bring the head and the shoulders back down into happy baby. If you can't hold your feet, you can always hold on around the backs of your knees or your calves. Again, that same sense of trying to extend your lower back down onto the mat. Again, most of us, our bottom will have lifted a little bit, but that's what we're working towards. And then wherever you are, let's give those knees one final hug in towards your belly. Maybe again, sliding the shoulders away from the ears as you round on up. Maybe you notice you can bring your nose a lot closer to your knees, maybe not. Lower the head, lower the shoulders. Allow the head to roll softly from side to side. Bring the feet down to the floor, taking them a little bit wider apart. So again, maybe you just want to rest your knees against each other. Maybe you want to straighten out one leg and then the other, allowing your toes to roll open. I'll just come up to seated for a moment so I can talk to you. So whatever position you might have taken, make sure you feel comfortable. And closing the eyes for a moment, take a nice deep breath in. And a nice deep breath out. Coming back to those lovely words at the beginning. New year should start with promises to be kinder to ourselves, to understand better just how much we bear. We are to promise more. Let's pledge to rest. So allowing our bodies now a moment of rest. Movement over. Mind has a chance to settle. The body has a chance to release. And just beginning again to bring your awareness back to that sense of expanding and opening the ribcage in all directions with every inhale. And softening back as you exhale. No need to force, no need to change. Breathing is that involuntary response. It's going to happen. But we have a certain element of control over how deeply, fast, or how slowly we can make that breath. And very slowly now, just begin to deepen and lengthen each breath. When you're ready, start to maybe just wiggle your fingers, your toes, maybe look roll the head again from side to side. And if your knees are bent, feel free to straighten out the legs, maybe take the arms back above the head so you find that lovely full body stretch again. Maybe again, pointing the toes, arching the back a little bit. Then as you lower your arms, walk your heels back in towards you one final time, bringing the knees in towards the chest. And just turning to lie on one side or the other for a moment. Taking your time to come up to seated. Use your hands to help you. So whatever position feels comfortable for the legs, never ever has to be cross-legged. Let's bring the hands together at the heart. The thumbs just nestled into your breastbones. You can let your elbows drop down heavily by the side of the body. Think about lifting your breastbone to meet your thumbs. Relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears. And trying to keep them there for the rest of the day as we take one inhale together, reaching the arms up towards the sky. And as you exhale and draw the hands down to the heart, wishing one another a happy and healthy 2023. Gosh. How did we get here? And namaste. Thank you for coming along today. Thank you, thank you. Ah.